everyone. It is Baby. I hope you guys are doing well. We are here for another episode of Speak Up, Speak Out, Speak Loud podcast, where it is another music edition, and we are showcasing the Baja Caravan Band. So we're going to go ahead and give it up for them. Thank you guys so much for coming on this platform and giving us a chance to interview you guys. I want to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves and just give us a little background on the band.
Sure, I'll start. My name's Eric. I sing and play guitar. I'm gonna go, Ben. Introduce yourself.
I'm Ben. I sing and play bass.
Cool.
I'm Matt Reagan. I just play drums.
Okay.
Just
Drums are
Just
good. Drums
And
bring it all together.
We are missing
Where's
Joe.
Joe?
He plays congas, but he might be logging in a little bit later. So
Okay, cool. So we may have another member that's gonna join us a little bit later, but thank you guys for joining us right now. Can you give us like a background on the band itself? We know who the band consists of. How did you guys actually meet?
yeah, so I kind of this is the first time I started a group with actually writing the music for it. And so about a year ago, it's been a little bit over a year, maybe a year and a half ago.
last March.
Yeah, it's about last March. I started with another guy, another drummer, and with just a couple songs, and we were looking for a bass player, found Ben on Craigslist, and then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
So, we just sort of practice, and then we lost another drummer during the summer and found Joe in about October, I think.
Okay.
And just been writing songs, original stuff, and just decided we needed another drummer, so we picked up Matt here.
Awesome.
But it was kind of the idea behind it is we kind of wanted to do, at least for me personally, I kind of wanted to do I grew up in San Diego, so I wanted to do kind of a West Coast acoustic surf stuff meets kind of Southwest music.
A little bit of Americana mixed in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So that kind of describes the sound. That wouldn't really qualify in a genre. That's more like you kind of built your own genre there.
So, everybody likes to think they're unique and everything, like their music doesn't fit in any genre. And to be honest, it's been something that I've sort of struggled with. I'm not sure what genre we really fit into. We're not really folk, we're not pop,
right?
Not necessarily rock. And I sort of said we were Southwest rock, but I don't know if that's going to catch on at all. But
all right. Well,
I'm not sure.
To me, I think that's a good thing because for followers out there that's been looking at my post, I did put up some video clips when I saw you guys perform live. And the first thing I said to my family that I was with, I was like, man, I've never heard a sound like this. Like, it's something that it kind of warms your heart, but there's no real genre place to place you. So I think I'm pretty sure that's a good thing because it kind of like sticks to you because it doesn't sound like everything else. But when you each started your own journey in music, did you ever see it like leading to being in an actual band? Or were you guys actually thinking of being just like a music artist by yourself?
When I started it, I was trying to do something not necessarily on my own, but under my name, and kind of realized, it works better as like kind of a group thing,
right?
So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question and all. But
No, it does because it gives kind of like an opening to what you were considering when you were thinking about music. So it gives us a little peek of that. What about everyone else? Did you guys think of music like, I just want to vibe out or jam out with others, or was it more of a career solo?
I've always loved being in bands. I've been in several. I never thought I'd be in a band like this, but I'm definitely happy that I found Eric and Matt and Joe.
That's good.
Yeah, as a drummer, I never really, thought about being like my own front band kind of thing. So it's always been behind the scenes ambitions for me. But yeah, I agree. This is a kind of I don't know I don't really like labeling music too much anyway. But this one's got its own unique sound for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Is it harder, do you think, to be in a band because there's so many creative minds versus being a solo artist?
I don't think so. I think the hardest thing is like trying to set up gigs, to be honest, in a band. Like if you're a solo artist, it's like, oh, I got to show up in Phoenix or Flagstaff or San Diego, just drive out there. But being a band
is difficult, but
to be honest, that
we all get along pretty well, and we don't like bash heads about what we're gonna do in certain songs or whatever. Eric is definitely a really good writer, and it's super easy to support him. I think it just comes down to being with the right group.
Right. That's good.
So it's just, one thing real quick I will say is, I've been in tons and tons of bands and groups and stuff, and it's unique to play with someone for the first time and you just automatically just groove with that person. That's what happened with Ben. That's what happened with Joe. And that's what happened with Matt. It's really unique for it to happen, and for it to happen, 3 or 4 times, it's just incredible. So I think it's been fun because of that, and everyone sort of brings in their unique style and stuff, and I like to think of it as all of us are writing these songs. So
that's good. So each person actually plays a part when it comes to
absolutely
creating the music.
Yeah. We gelled so much. I feel like Ben and I talked about this yesterday, that it's like when we have a practice and someone's not able to show up, we're like, hey, there's something missing here. The other person, it's just because it fits so well within the music. They've written their part in there, and it's like that just fits perfect.
Okay, awesome. That's cool. That's honestly something that you don't often hear a lot of times. With different artists that I have interviewed, you kind of have to build that force it to kind of become collective. But that's awesome to hear that you guys kind of found the perfect rhythm and it gels out throughout the band itself. So that's definitely cool there. I commend you guys on that. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened. I agree with Eric. It's like I played in a lot of bands too, and it doesn't always come together as quickly. I don't know, magically.
Yeah. Well, Matthew, I want to start with you. What actually led you? Because there's drums is in almost every genre, every piece of music, every sound there is, including music, movies, anything out there. What actually inspired you, or who inspired you to get into music itself?
I guess originally, like every drummer, probably like the Police and Led Zeppelin, the kind of classic rock would have been the gateway drums.
That's awesome, because I was actually thinking that. I was like, man, it has to be Led Zeppelin because
yeah. And then I guess everybody, you kind of evolve out of that and then come back. For me with Led Zeppelin, I don't know, I go through these phases, but now just really anything. And I think with this project, I like to picture myself as like trying to mimic a Steve Gadd kind of role, like the Paul Simon guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Ben, what about you? You play bass, right?
Yes.
All right. What inspired you?
played bass since fourth grade, so like 20 some years.
Wow.
I wanted to play guitar, and I do play guitar. There's just more opportunities for bass players, and my mom played bass at first, and then I got into jazz band in middle school, and that band teacher was, I think, really important in my development as a bass player.
That's
So
cool.
I think it's thanks to my mom and that band director that I'm still playing bass.
Oh, that's so cool. Eric, what about you? You songwrite and play guitar. So is there a battle of what inspired you, or was it just a certain sound?
Well, I grew up in a musical family, so my grandfather was a musician. That's what he did for a living. He had his own band. It was a swing band. So
Cool.
he played like every instrument. So it was sort of always something that was kind of hanging over us as kids, like it'd be like grandpa. But so the guys are gonna roll their eyes, but I've been obsessed with Paul Simon for years and years and years, and he's kind of someone who I started playing guitar because I wanted to sound like him. But I really like world music, but world music that combines with melodies that are more like West Coast. This is gonna sound kind of silly coming from me, but like West Coast hip hop. So yeah, I'm a little bit older. I grew up listening to Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg. I really love Death Row records. It's just real rhythmic, but I like world music behind it. And that's kind of the way that I've tried to write stuff, to where it's more melodic, the vocal part maybe with maybe just kind of chords right behind it. But Paul Simon was kind of the guy that got me started writing, and I haven't always written music myself. I've try to write music, and I come up with this song, that song, maybe one song a year. And really this last year was the only time that since I met Ben. I think Ben was sort of a catalyst for me, and it's like, because he's such an incredible bass player, and like, because I give him a song and he can come up with this bass line, like, oh my god, I didn't even imagine the song would sound like this, because his bass line is so good. And so he's kind of inspired me to write a little bit better, and to do that stuff. And we've come up with, between us as a band, we've got almost 3 hours of music now, which is pretty great.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I've only heard you guys once live, but I was thinking the same thing. Like, I heard you. That's just because I'm new from out here. But when I heard my family brought me out, they said, "Hey, you gotta come check out this band." And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check them out, because I wanted to see the scene out here. And I saw you guys play. I was like, man, it just seemed like it gelled together. But I'm not gonna lie, when I heard Ben on the bass, I turned to my sister. I was like, man, that man can play. Yeah. So I get it. That definitely can like inspire some rhythm. I agree there. That's definitely inspiring. That's awesome. Are you all from the West Coast?
Matt, where are you from?
No, originally I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I've been in Arizona for, I don't know, seems like most of my adult life. So.
Okay.
Mom got me out so much burros and eggs.
Ooh, someone has eggs.
I don't know what she's saying.
All right. Eric, you said you're from California?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in San Diego. So,
oh, cool. It's a lot of music out there. Actually, Nashville and San Diego, it gives a different vibe. The difference I see out here is there's more. It's a more broad span of how music is played or portrayed out here. It's not really one specific sound. It's so much different rhythm, and it's like amazing. Ben, where are you from?
I was born and raised in Tucson.
Oh, cool.
Lived in Phoenix. I've lived in Seattle, but I'm back in Tucson. This is my hometown.
Oh, that's awesome. I always have fun when I go there. I moved out here and I was originally supposed to go to Tucson, and then I was like, just gonna find in the middle of nowhere. And then no.
Tucson's a fun place. I like Tucson a
it's
lot.
so much to do. I didn't even know it was this much out here to do. Like, because when I first got here, I was just a typical East Coast tourist, and I was just like, it's nothing but deserts. And I was asking my sister, I was like, why is all these dead plants in the park? She was like, what do you mean there's cactus? And I was like, oh, okay. So, what was it like performing together for the first time?
It was a lot of
definitely
fun.
nervous.
Yeah, we were nervous, but it was like sort of anticipation built up and built up and built up because we've been just practice for like almost a year because we weren't able to do anything. And I was like, let's just get this over with. And
Yeah.
we booked a show. And was Muddle our first show, Matt? Ben? I mean,
I wasn't there. Yeah.
I think our first show was Moto Sonora. I know that we played an open mic before then.
Oh,
but
yeah,
that was just 2 songs at Reed Park.
Oh, okay. Well, how do you typically, I guess, book shows or promote in order to get noticed for shows? Is it difficult? I know with the pandemic, it has been hard for a lot of people. But is there a way that you guys kind of look at the market or how you get your sound still out there?
It's been a little difficult now because things are closed and we're a new band. So when we, I try to do my best to, email places or, I should probably do a little bit better job of actually going to places and meeting with owners and stuff. But it seems like the more you play, the more gigs you get. And so it's an up and down thing where it's like, seems like we got a bunch at a time and then we have a little while where we don't have some. But it's just been difficult right now getting responses to play. And I think a little bit of that is the virus. A little bit of it is because we're a little bit new, but
right. I mean, I can see that because although it's stating that there's places opening, you have people who are hesitant to open as well, even though there are states that are opening up. And then there's some states and some places that just feel like they never even closed.
Right. And we've had a few that are, yeah. Go ahead. Ben.
Considering like the virus and everything, I think we're doing pretty well at booking shows.
Yeah, I agree. I think the last show the show that I went to with you guys performing, it was good. You guys had your area, they had the audience area, it was perfect. They had amazing
outdoors.
Yeah, it was outdoors too. I thought that was so cool because a lot of people think you have to actually be in like a secluded area or like inside like a club or a bar in order to get that attraction. But to me, it attracted me more because of the scenery and it being outdoors. And it seemed real intimate and cozy, but it seemed safe at the same time. So that's something that's very inspirational because I know a lot of people were hesitant, especially with the pandemic going on and with everything just up in the air at the time. Now with performing, have any of you together or separate have performance anxiety? What was that like if you did?
I always get nauseous like the whole day before a show.
Nauseous?
I get on everything just like flushes away and I'm fine and I'm ready to go.
That's good. No, I'm glad because you're nauseous going on stage. Oh my god.
As soon as I'm on stage though, everything's fine. And the more shows we play, the less that feeling is there. Anxiety there is because I'm just used to being ready for it,
Right. Is it more of a comfort, especially because you're in a band, that it assists in the performance anxiety because the comfort of the band itself.
With the other people around, that helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not everybody's looking at me. There's other people to stare at sometimes.
That's awesome. Does anybody else have like performance anxiety? Eric?
I mean,
I don't. I don't know. It makes me all the weed for me, but
Well,
Yeah, you and
that's
Joe.
to help it.
So I get sometimes I get the BGs, the bubble guts, but it's like, it depends on if we played. Like Ben said, it's like, if we haven't played in a while, I get a little nervous. I'm like, okay, we haven't played for a while. But it seems like if you play like a couple times a week or you play, once a week, it's not as bad. Plus, the other thing that it depends on is the amount that you've practiced. And I feel like we practice and we know the songs well enough to where it's like, I'm not too nervous to play them, and we'll mess them up. It's inevitable that you mess it up, but nobody knows. We just kind of look and smile at each other. Like, I played a few songs where like I started the song on the second verse. I played that twice, like the same song. I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah. I played this song 1,000 times, and
Oh man, that's cool. Are you guys?
we rehearse in front of an audience kind of accidentally because we rehearse outdoors and it's across from a school, an elementary school. So when the parents line up to pick up the hear us, so that gives us a little taste of being on stage.
That is cool. That's awesome. You gotta you start them off young too. Just build up your fan base from
that. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, is your market typically Arizona area, or have you guys been different places? Have you actually been performed in California?
So we haven't. We've only performed here in Tucson so far. Like I said, we really just started performing out a few months ago. We've been together as Baja Caravan, at least Ben and I have, for a year, but we really only started performing a couple months ago. And so we're trying to get traction here in Tucson. We're trying to get shows set up in Phoenix and San Diego, just because that's kind of where I'm from. But I feel like our audience is probably West Coast. I mean, I feel like it's pretty universal music. It's not it's not anything that's offensive or like super hardcore rock or
Right.
like we talked about, that fits in sort of a
No,
genre. So right. So I've heard people say when I listen to your music, it makes me feel like I'm sitting on the beach, drinking a margarita or something. And that's real nice. So, I mean, everyone I feel can relate to that. I hope. I don't know.
Well, that's good. If you guys didn't know already, now you know. The people who follow me, and we live 15 minutes from the coast in North Carolina, they have been liking and following everything that goes with the Baja Caravan. So you guys are in North Carolina too. So.
Great.
They're actually
we'll try to get a show out there. It'd be great.
Yeah, we actually have a lot of comments going on right now because we are live on Facebook as well. So a lot of people are tuning in from North Carolina as we're currently speaking.
Cool. I have a buddy who has a studio out there, and we don't have anything out yet as a band, but we're gonna try to make it out there to maybe record some songs and play some shows too. So
awesome.
North Carolina is definitely one of our destinations we're trying to get out to. So
yeah, we gotta go to Tennessee now. Now we got Nashville on here, so we gotta take it. I have some too, so you might see me pop up. I'm not a stalker, guys. Not a stalker. Totally gonna follow you guys.
You can stalk us. It's all right.
Stalk all you want.
Okay, so with everything that you have going on and building your market and building your band, obviously this isn't just a sincere passion that you have. You guys are aiming towards actually being like, are you aiming or building to become like a top contender in the music industry? Because you technically can form your own genre too.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you start this stuff, I think, Ben and I talked about when we started it, we're kind of like, yeah, let's see where it goes. And in the back of your head, you're always like, yeah, I want to be, out there on, Jimmy Kimmel or whatever, doing something.
We got big dreams.
Oh yeah,
We do. Yeah.
that's cool. Matthew, have you ever pictured yourself like in the shining light, and the Tennessee Showcase concert? They do it big out there. They have some serious. I've been to those rhythm and blues concerts, and obviously it's not just rhythm and blues, but they put on some serious showcase. Have you ever seen yourself as a top contender?
Yeah, that'd be great. I listen to everything, and I just because I grew up there, I still keep up with like the new country. So the big time would be a fun place to be, so to speak, even if it was just for a second, just to say you did it.
Oh well, that's everyone's dream. I'm wishing all best of luck for you guys, and with the sound that you have, I know you're going to be bigger and better, and just level up wherever you go, because your sound is just. I can hear your song playing in my head right now.
They're catchy, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's something, like you said, it really makes you feel like you're just relaxing. You're in a cabana, you're just sitting there with your margarita, you're just relaxing away. There's not just margaritas you can drink, but trust me, from the first show, those margaritas with your sound, I was just chilling back there. It was awesome. It was amazing. It was perfect.
Well, us too on stage, so it's good.
There you go. I knew there was something going on because I was like, man, they're kind of in a vibe. No.
Right. We got the mic stand with the cup holders. Yeah.
Hey, that's a good invention, actually. That might be something you guys need to copyright.
Yeah.
Baja Caravan Man mic stand cup holders. Now going further, with everything that you guys have going on right now and the growth that you are seeing, are there any tips that you have for other artists out there, especially those who are just getting started?
Stick with it. If this is what you love to do, don't give it up. I stopped playing for a few years, and it just sort of ate away at me, and didn't realize like how much I missed it. Just stick with it. Keep doing it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. I mean, even if you're writing songs that are not great, eventually you'll write one that's just great. And it's just a sort of a high you get, and you'll meet the right people to play with.
I think that's super important. Is finding the right people to play with, because you might jam with somebody and it just doesn't go well. And it might discourage you from ever trying to jam with anybody ever again, but don't let it discourage you. You just got to find the right people.
Yeah, that's real important. Seems no time to.
Please practice. Yeah. Especially when you get in a band. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a
take it responsibility. I mean, we talked about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, I was just gonna say, we talked about making it big, but I think the main thing is like if we could do this as a living, that's really what you're shooting for. And if you don't take it seriously, what's the point?
Yeah, I definitely agree there.
Mr.
Robinson, he is part of our production. He, because we are live with our interviews, we always do a live interview on Sunday, and then the video and audio is available on Monday. There is a question from the audience that is watching our video right now. Mr. Robinson is going to say the question.
What is the biggest influence you guys have?
I guess to keep going, what's the biggest influence you guys have?
So individually or as a group?
Oh, or both.
Well, Yeah, for me personally, Paul Simon, like I mentioned before, is at least as a songwriter, I feel like his lyrics and the way that he writes music since he started, from the 60s up until now, I mean, he's still releasing stuff. He's in his 70s. He's been my biggest influence, and I try to sound like him. But there's so many influences that you have that make you who you are. It's hard to say.
Right.
If I had to pick one CD, it was like the Desert Island thing, it would be a Paul Simon, probably Graceland, Paul Simon, for me personally.
Okay, that's cool. Is it how do I word this? Is it difficult to kind of like find your sound or find an influence as you can see the music industry as it is today? Because a lot of us reflect on what past music that we have, but what about the current music?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's hard. I mean, you look at current music and I'm like, where in the world would we fit in? Because, whatever's on the top 10 is just like, I don't get it. I mean, personally. And so it's hard for me sometimes if I'm like it gets me discouraged, but at the same time, playing with these guys and their influences, they've all got their own influences. And so we've made sort of a unique sound to where, other people have said, hey, that song is a Baja Caravan song. It's the name of our band. What do you think, Ben? I'm too old to ask that question. I don't know. I don't know about modern music.
I definitely get a lot of influence from hip hop, whether it's old school or some of the newer stuff. There's lots of good bass lines going on in there, and they'll even take influences from old stuff and bring it into a new song.
It's all recycling. People are doing stuff.
True.
If you listen to modern music, pop music, you can hear older stuff in there. I always, when you listen to it, you're like, hey, that sounds like that's, the Isley Brothers from the 70s or something.
Right.
You can hear it.
There's a band from Houston I got hip to a while back. I'm probably going to say it wrong. It's like Crunden, maybe. Anyway, it's a trio, kind of like a psychedelic pop trio that I would say I've been listening to recently as far as new stuff.
That's cool. And that's a lane that we usually don't hear often, but it's it's a lot of sound, like the psychedelic sound. I don't think people realize what it is, but a lot of people actually tend to favor it. They just don't, I guess, realize what they're listening to. But I've been on that wave as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Robinson, is there any other questions from the audience that we haven't answered?
What inspires your music?
We just answered. We just asked that.
Well, I could say a little bit maybe about that, because our music. So the writing process for us is like, I'll kind of write a demo, an acoustic demo, and I'll usually send it to Ben and say, hey, what do you think? Do you think we can go somewhere with this? And Ben's usually really nice about it. Says, yeah, it's great. But I know he really likes it when he actually comes up with a bass line for it. So it'll be, okay, it comes up with his demo, and then we'll play it as a band, and Ben will have a bass line for it. And it goes somewhere else where I didn't think it really goes. For example, we have a song called Don't Need You No More. And I think this one's on our website. I started this one as like a complete acoustic finger picking song and it has really sad lyrics. But now if you listen to it, it has a really kind of a funky bass line, and it has a really good, Matt's playing sort of a 16th note, and it just went somewhere completely different. And so it's hard to know, all of us, you play, you're stuck in the way that you play. And so, when we'll bring a song in, it's like, okay, everyone kind of brings their unique style into it, and it turns it into something else. And the good thing about us kind of all gelling together is that, I don't think I've brought a song in where it's like, okay, I don't like where this is going. We do have songs where it's like, okay, we can't figure out how to make this work, so we kind of put it to the side. That does happen.
Okay.
But we don't have a style or idea of the way we want it to our songs to turn out. It just turns out the way it is, and it's sort of our style, which is kind of cool.
That's cool. So it's
the long-winded.
What you're saying is pretty much your music is kind of constructed by every member of the band.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's
exactly
awesome.
right.
That's really awesome, and that's really honestly that's like a special skill that you have, because sometimes I've noticed in other bands that I've witnessed or interviewed. I've been doing this for a while. It's just I recently just my technology is slower than others, but it's getting better than it was. But I often see sometimes it's hard for a band for each person to actually implement their talent or their trait into it itself. Sometimes it will clash, and typically you see like the songwriter or the person who produces the music, they kind to formulate everything because it doesn't sound. But because your band has the trait where everybody is able to bring in like a different trait or a different skill, that's something that's very powerful, and that's something that's very important. How important is it? This is the last question, and then we're going to get your contact information. How important is it to have a good, you guys hear the dogs? How important is it to have a cohesive vibe when you're in a band itself, everyone being on one accord and everyone being able to voice themselves in a band? How important is that?
Well, it depends on what you're going for as a band. I mean, if you're, I've heard James Brown, like when he played, like he was just, he knew exactly what he wanted the drums to do, exactly what he wanted the sax to do and all that stuff. And he heard it in his ear. For us, I wanted this band to be a band and all of us to put their in, exactly for it to be that way. And regardless of whether I'll bring in typically the new songs, but I don't have an idea of the way I want it to go. I mean, sometimes it's like that's not working, but we're all open. And I mean, I think the main thing is for you guys, for people to be open to have things change in your song and not be to not be like, okay, no, I want it this way and I see it that way, because otherwise what's the point of you doing something if it's just like, okay, I only want it the way I want it to do, when it's like, you
just
can
want
get
to do it yourself and not have a band at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't James Brown used to fine the guys after the show? He'd be like, "I'd be 10 because you missed that."
Yeah, I think that's
good thing we don't do that. Yeah.
Right. I think that plays a part in the having some people construct it, but it's definitely great to have everyone on one accord and just having your own sound. And I think that, to me, just from an outsider, never been in a band, I don't really have that much rhythm, but music. I think, to me, you can hear when everyone vibes together, when there's when there's a cohesive respect and everyone's pitching in. I think you can hear it more, and you can feel it more if that's the vibe that is going forward. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think people have fun doing it that way. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. I definitely agree with you there, and I heard it when I saw you guys perform. So you got a super fan here. Again, not stalker. But that is all we have today for you guys with our interview with the Baja Caravan Band. I was in there this whole time. I get to the end, but that is it for us. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on Speak Up, Speak Out, Speak Loud. Before we go, I do want you guys to give your information or where they can look up any music or contact information for any booking. For anyone watching out there who wants to book them, just saying. You guys go ahead and give your information to everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you
can
so much
find.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
very
thank you.
much. Yeah.
You're welcome.
I've been enjoying your show too. I've been watching. It's been great. So
Oh, thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm trying to do a game show with the next one, and I'm just
Cool.
big undertaking.
You can find
Yeah,
us on Facebook, Instagram, Baja Caravan Band. We also have a website. What's the website, Eric?
It's BajaCaravanBand.com. You have to put the band in there. BajaCaravanBand.com, because Baja Caravan was already taken. It's like something. So
Uber Shop, I think.
yeah. We do have some music on the website and on Facebook. We've got some videos. They're all live stuff. There's not really any like demos or anything like that. But you can see when we're playing at Moto Sonora. If anyone's out here in Tucson on Friday, 4/2. So try to make it out. It should be a fun show. I think there's going to be a lot of people, and we might have a very special guest playing too. So
awesome! I'm super mad they changed my days off, so now I can't go. Oh man, I gotta find one of these days to go. I'm just gonna take a day off. Oh wait, no. There's like some.
We're playing 6 to 8. So if you make it out.
All right, you guys heard them. Now on the post for this, as well as any any promotion we had, they do actually have a logo. So that logo actually helped me find a lot, because I was looking for the logo when I was following you guys. What is the significance of that logo? This is random.
Right there, that's the logo.
Oh, there it is.
I have to ask it.
So, it's kind of like the idea behind the music is the Southwest meets the West Coast thing. So the Southwest, we thought, okay, Buffalo and the surfboard, West Coast. It just looked cool. And we goofed around with so much stuff, and we kept going back to it. And we actually got a couple gigs just because of the logo, because they saw the logo and they're like, okay, that's kind of cool. So it's been working out good, but we designed it that way.
All right.
With that in mind.
I mean, it's definitely a cool logo. So it's definitely want to
Thank you.
look and see like what's going on here. Let me look a little further in there. So it definitely does.
You can get some free stickers if you come to the show too. So
yay! Oh, I'm gonna have to send someone. I want some stickers. Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers right now?
No, thank you so much. Check out the music, and if you like it, give us a like, and come check us out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us too.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Thank you guys for joining. Matthew or Ben, is there anything else you guys want to say?
Check the website.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for coming on Speak Up, Speak Out, Speak Aloud podcast. Our next podcast is supposed to be a game show, right? Supposed to be a game show where we do finish the lyrics, and whoever, it's going to be 2 contestants. We're going to have a East Coast person versus a West Coast person. We're going to see who can finish the lyrics. And of course, if you're over 21, this is a drinking game. If you're not, this is a juice game. Do not drink. But thank you guys as always. You can find us on YouTube under Baby Lane. It is baby with an IE. You can also Google that. As far as our website, it is OT Queens. That's right. It's no longer Olive Tree Queens because it was super long. So we changed it to OTQueens.com. Under there, you can also buy our virtual gear. Again, I am a virtual gear model, and we do have raffles going on all the time, back to school, whenever school's in. We have those specials as well. We have masks, t-shirts. We even have glow in the dark hyper chill, and shipping is available. As far as on Facebook, you can find me under miss.baby, again with an IE, Barbie, or on Instagram, it is hype, HYPE, of biz, like Biz Markie. Apparently, a lot of people were young and they didn't understand that, so that is BIZ if you did not know what the Biz Markie was. But that's all we have for you today, and we will see you next time on the line. Thank you, guys.